Hello Capricorns, welcome to your May of 2016 reading. I pulled 4 cards for you for this month and then another fell out of the deck. And right away there's obviously some pretty strong messages. So I've got what I would sum up as either a heartbreak or at least a major disappointment, centered around what you thought was something stable, including a marriage or a living situation, and a departure from that situation, which most likely will be the beginning of a new cycle for you. So if it's a walking away, it's probably a permanent walking away. So this is pretty intense. I know that this comes off as pretty harsh to start. I'm also using this Morgan Greer deck, which is very, very visual, and it tends to be, it delivers the message pretty strongly. I'll leave it at that, at least in my impression. But it's not by accident that I used it for this month. So the good news is that for whoever's watching this, I do feel like this is not something that is going to surprise you around the corner. I feel like you most likely already know about this, and it's just something that you're dealing with going forward. So a lot of you that are being attracted to watch this reading may be going through a heartbreak right now. You may be ending a marriage. It could be for some of you a disappointment around a steady job or getting like a home loan or a house that you were trying to buy, and that not working out, and so kind of really having to switch gears because of it and come up with a new plan. But I do feel a lot of more the emotional disappointment and heartbreak that usually comes along with a relationship ending or something along those lines. So let's look a little bit deeper into what the cards and my guides want me to present to you. So one thing is that I'm really picking up on the yellow that is present in these cards. Especially in this Four of Wands on the top right. So again, this tends to represent a home and stability, and it can also represent marriage. But the colors in it are really giving me a lot of hope. And also remember with the Death card that it really is a rebirth card. And so that also presents a lot of hope. So going forward, I feel like this is a really bright new beginning for you. Even the glow behind the Three of Swords, which is just incredibly, painful imagery to look at. Even with that card, you do see this yellow glow of almost like a sun behind it. And so I'm really presented with a lot of hope for you. And it's not to downplay the situation at all, but I feel like those of you going through this are going to be okay, and I feel like some of you may be relieved. That might not be the case with all of you. I feel like for some of you this might be a really acute, painful thing, like it might not have been your choice, but for some of you I do feel like this is your choice, and so you may already even be feeling a lot of hope about what's to come. That's not to say that you don't still have to experience the pain and emotion. So one thing that my guides are telling me to convey to you is that in these situations where we have a lot of emotional turmoil going on, although that's 100% you and it's very authentic, remember that it's one level of our being. So this gets a little bit into more spiritual philosophy, and of course it depends on what you believe, but if you can just imagine in brief, I'll just give you a little bit of information, is that, we have a mental body, we have an emotional body, we have an ethereal body, and we can be present as much as we want in any of them. It's just that in our 3D lives, we really become used to living a lot through the mental and emotional, and of course the physical, that which is tangible. But those three tend to really play a role, and it's interesting that it's three because that's really ringing true with this Three of Swords right now. But the message, and then there's the four to follow it, and the message really is to try to rise above that. It's not easy to do. Again, we're very conditioned to function mostly in those realms, and it does take effort to rise above it. But one thing that really helps me is to try to stay heart-centered. And again, this takes practice too, but if you feel like when you're going through emotions, we all differ. Some of us might feel pain in our crown chakra and get headaches or something like that. Some of us might feel it more in our solar plexus and our stomach. So it just depends on the person. But if you do feel like energetically you can feel your pain in a certain area, I would encourage you to try to draw that energy into your heart space. Our hearts are incredible filters and incredibly healing organs, and not just in the physical sense. So our heart chakra is the center of purification and healing. And if you can draw your negative emotions or painful emotions into that space, it will really help to purify them. And again, I also don't think it's a coincidence that that message is being given and we're seeing this heart. Because although it's stabbed by these three swords, which again could be like the physical, mental, and emotional, it's still in a way intact. Although it's pierced, it's still intact and it still has that glow to it. And I do believe in this method. It has helped me tremendously in the past. The heart is an incredible space, and again, it does take practice, so you have to remember to keep kind of drawing that energy back into there. So I would encourage you to try it. And I feel like it's a really good message for you Capricorns for this month, because as I'm tapping into that energy of any pain or disappointment you might be going through, I really feel like you're all very strong and even confident on a certain level. And although some of this disappointment, whatever it's about, might be bringing you down, you can rise above it, and you definitely have it in your being to do so. And I just want to say once more, it's not to downplay those emotions. They can even be very beneficial to work through. It's not to say also to not let yourself feel them. But once you draw it into your heart space, sometimes it's a little bit easier to look at because you're not caught up in the pain or confusion of it as much. And so it'll also help you get a different perspective. I just get the feeling that so many of you who may be experiencing some of this heartbreak are really in a position that you are incredibly capable and strong in your being, if you can rise above some of this turmoil. So I would highly encourage that. And then I'm seeing the yellow in the moon in this Eight of Cups, and this is the one that really represents like a turning away from something that you have put effort into. So for some it could have to do with work and then moving on and facing a new beginning. Someone could have lost their job. I'm picking that up for someone. So this could be about losing a job. And the same methods really would apply to that as well, in terms of there's emotions you have to face, and using the heart chakra as a filter and a purifying and healing tool. Those things really can apply to this, to a job situation as well. Being fired is incredibly traumatic. I've been through that myself, and even if you feel like you're already picking up the pieces and starting something new, it's very frightening. It's like having the rug pulled out from under you. So that would bring up this Three of Swords energy too, and it goes with the Four of Wands as well because of that stability issue. It could disrupt that. But with this moon, it's reminding me of the new moon because of the stage that it's in, and that's coming up in a few days. So I think it's the 6th or 7th, and then you've got the Eight of Cups. I'm seeing the 8 too. So your movement away from whatever the painful situation is could be literally happening this week for a lot of you. Um, and I do feel like by mid-month, though, you will have turned a new leaf and will at least be making the efforts to move towards something new, a new job, project, um, not necessarily a new relationship, but a new period of healing from an old one for some of you, and um, creating a new stable space and comfortable place for yourself to heal your wounds. The card that fell out of the deck is the Magician. And as you can see here, that one has a lot of that beautiful yellow too, especially towards the top of it. It has a pentacle, so I'm being told to reach out to those of you who may have lost a job or had to walk away from one for some reason, that there is hope for that. And then the rose is really pointing to this hope for a relationship in the future for some of those of you facing heartbreak. And it can be love for yourself too with that rose. I'm really picking that up. The cup is there and the sword, and it's reminding me that there's still healing to do from that Three of Swords. I'm seeing like blood, and it's just reminding me of the heartbreak a little bit, and I feel like that's still going to be there for you. But the overall message is that you have everything necessary to help yourself through this, just on your own. And then we would hope that you also have others to talk to and rely on as well. But the important message is that you don't even need it. You have everything within you, all the tools that you need to help yourself heal through this. This can also be about manifesting new things. For those of you who have lost a job, it may be a clue to try to start something on your own. Sometimes that's a strong message with losing a job. But in terms of the relationship, not picking up that manifesting energy as much with the Magician for this. I'm really feeling a lot of healing with the yellow and the infinity symbol and the fact that we've faced some heartbreak and things like that. I feel like it's to let you know that you have everything necessary to help yourself heal through this and to try to keep hope. So hope is a message for this too. I'm almost picking up some of the energy from like the Star card. So that's what I have for you for this month, Capricorn. It's a pretty serious reading, but I'm glad that I could have given what I could in this situation that you might be going through, and I do hope that it helped. If you're interested, I can offer private readings. You can email me at soulsintersect@gmail.com. Thank you.